This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, all you crypto boomers. It is Bud and George and Paul back for this week's chat on cryptos. And man, has it been a week again. It seems like I say that every week, but in this space, boy, I tell you what, in the time period of a few days, it's a range of emotions from euphoria to, oh my gosh, it's dying, to here it comes back, to, whatever else. So before we get started, go ahead and click the subscribe button, the like button, all the buttons you can click to make sure that you're getting our videos. Share them, help people out. And without any further intro or housekeeping stuff, let's go ahead and get started right now. I'm going to give a date because, man, to come back to them and know what date it is helpful. So it's May 12th. Good grief. We're already almost halfway through the month of May, guys.
Wow.
So anyway, Bud and George. Bud, how's it going over there on the other side of the pond?
It is a beautiful day to be alive. We're in crypto. It's been a long time coming, but the 2017 run looks like it's pretty small in comparison to this one. This one is it's a big big run. It's wonderful to be part of.
Well, you're not kidding. I mean, let's just look at that. Now that you say that, let's just tighten up this chart. There's the 2017 run. I mean,
a bump on a log.
Hello. And Jay's been telling us that for how long? Back in the day when this was huge, he would say, at some point, guys, it's going to look like this little bump. And my goodness, we are here. And, if you haven't been keeping up with it, if you're new to this space, do not fear, do not fret. We were talking before the show that I've had a few new people in this space ask me if they're too late, if they're too late to get in. And George made a good point. He said, well, I need to know if they're talking about too late to get into this run or too late to get into this bull market, because there's some waves to this bull market. And guys, we're just getting started here. I know that when you look at this chart, it doesn't seem like we're just getting started. But if you go to some of these other charts, some of these cryptos that we feel like are fantastic projects, I mean, really, when you look at it, yeah, we've had a big run on XLM, but if you know what the target is on XLM, if you know what Jay's target is, we're just getting started. And and there's still some buys out there. Somebody asked me that just this week, hey, I've got some more money to put in the market, but it looks like it's too late for this run. And I'm like, what are you talking about too late? I mean, too late for 25x? I mean, do you want 25 times your money? Yeah, it's too late to get into Bitcoin, in my opinion, probably. It's too late to get into, probably at this point, into Ethereum, probably. But my goodness, there's all kinds of other phenomenal projects out there that you can park some money in and still get in on this run right here that we are looking to capture sometime in June, right, guys?
Yeah, right. Paul, it opens up a whole new area of emotion for us, which we do have some good training there from the guys. But like the emotion of, wow, this has gone up, and how to deal with the price rises. I'd love to at some point share what I'm seeing on the Bitcoin dominance, because this one is hard to read, but it's a little bit unnerving, and I don't know what to make of it. But in our training, it's what we're taught. Do you mind if I just grab the screen from you, Paul?
Let's do that.
Oh yeah,
let's do that.
Please do, Bud.
Yeah, let me
take that screen.
Just grab that and share. Okay, so there is the Bitcoin dominance, and can you see the trickle down? So this again is the dominance of Bitcoin compared to all the other cryptos, the alts in the marketplace, and you can see that it kind of formed this head and shoulders. I think I mentioned this on a previous show, and then we've broken this, and we've been trickling down ever since, which was around the March. Sort of mid to end March. But look at what I see here. Do you recognize from our training, guys, what this looks like? Look, have you ever seen anything like that?
Goodness,
That's a gap.
it's a gap down.
That is.
And it looks like a morning star. I
Mm.
mean, so I don't know whether this is going to turn and then there's going to be a flood of money coming into Bitcoin, or if Bitcoin then goes for its spike and then this dominance then comes back up here, and then we have a flush down to the bottom line, or not. But that I was just looking at that today, and that to me looked like a morning star.
And I don't believe I've seen that in the dominance chart. Have you guys? Either one of you guys?
Yeah, no, especially a gap like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's an interesting. I'm glad you showed us that, Bud, because I had not seen that yet. We do think, and Jace in some of his updated videos, and man, if you're not seeing his updated videos, yesterday was a freaking tremendous video that I know I really appreciated. He updated some targets, and obviously these are all moving targets, folks. It's not something where, 2 months ago we said this crypto is going to reach this much and it hasn't changed. There's been changes, and you know what? It's been changes to the upside for most of them. A target of 65,000 on Bitcoin is now pushing the 80,000 mark just because of the dynamics of the market. And it's very important to be able to keep up with that. And, Jay teaches that. And he also not only teaches that, he also holds our hand and kind of gives us videos and shows us exactly what that looks like. But in this chart, I could see it turning up for a little while. If you look at Bitcoin's price right now, we're in the mid 50s, 56,000, I think. And we've got a target of somewhere in the neighborhood for this run, somewhere in the neighborhood of the 75, 80,000. It could overperform, we never know, but at this point, that's where we're looking. And then at that point, and the liquidity swap really has already started. For those that were in Ethereum Classic, what a tremendous trade. Let's talk about that for just a minute. You have that? Do you have that?
That's funny because I was going to say, let's bring that up because, one day Jay said, oh, it's going to hit, 130. And he changed it 3 times and
yes,
it hit exactly where he said, it's already been there, but 160. I was like, wow, 2 days ago, you were talking quite a bit less, and it hit 160 and then dropped from there.
Yeah, within 2 days of his call that, hey, I've upgraded the target to the 160 mark, within 2 days, and it may have been within one, I don't remember, but within 2 days, it had hit that and had turned back, and now you can see where it went. And many of us who were, paying attention, watching Jay, listening to Jay, learning from our own charts, from our own training, we already had our swaps in place, already had them over to, in most of our cases, over at Caleb and Brown, and said, hey, at this, here's the limit order, and at 150, I want to start selling into whatever it was, XLM, HBAR,
And Paul, I want to show, I'm looking at the my sheet that I put together on when I don't remember what video it was, but it was a couple of weeks ago. Jay talked about a bunch of numbers and he went through, and I wrote down what Ethereum Classic was. And at that point, maybe this was 2.5 weeks ago, he said $90.
Yes, that's right.
and then it was like 110, and then another, and then the final of 160, and that's what it hit. So when people want to just look at their sheet and say, okay, I'm going to sell at 90 because that's what I was told, 3 weeks ago. Well, you can see on this chart what you'd miss, and it did. Look, it hit 90, and then rocketed from there. So you got to stay on top of this, and you can't just get, quote unquote, the trade calls and be okay. You need to stay on top of this if you want to be a swing trader and be a successful swing trader.
Yeah. Well, and
actually, one of the things that might be useful is one of the things that I found useful is, as I was selling, sort of just a little bit here, just to make myself feel that I can sell big green candles, but I sold a bulk of mine up here. And I'm quite proud of that. That's great that we all did this, with our training. But one of the
Yeah.
things I'm doing now is I actually don't look at Ethereum Classic anymore. I've taken it off my list. I'm waiting for the retracement, and I feel that by doing that, it means that you don't have that remorse of, oh no, I've sold and it's continued to go up. You just forget about it, put it to one side, and focus on what you have in your portfolio now. The pivot and the other coins. So that's very useful for me. And of course, you guys made me look at this now, so I'm feeling quite smug.
Yeah, no, I got out right, not at the very top because I'm not a pig, and I wanted to make sure that I was out. And whether or not I go back into Ethereum Classic, I don't know. I want to cut down my coin count
Me too.
by quite a few, and I know that there are some really good coins out there. I might dabble back into it, but I don't know. I'll make that decision later when I reevaluate my portfolio.
Well, and one thing, when Jay was updating those targets, I think he updated from 90 to 110, 120, and then he updated it the next day or 2 days later to the 150, 160 mark. And I had my limit order in at the broker to sell at I believe it was 150. And it was probably $117 at the time. And I remember the broker going, okay, well, we'll wait for it. And I'm like, yeah, it ain't gonna be a long wait. 2 days later, my order's filled. My order's filled, and I have swapped into something that had just started moving, and I'm already substantially up from that one. So it's listen, the training that we have gotten from Jay is invaluable. I can't say it enough. I say it every time we get on here, but it is incredible. I will say that I know somebody that put $10,000 into ETC to buy a $100,000 vehicle. His goal was to buy it at $10,000 or buy a $100,000 vehicle for 10 grand, basically, of his own money. And he now has that money. So, and that was a fairly short period of time. Go back to when Ethereum Classic was around $15, bud. What's a date on that? Should be
$15. Yeah, that looks like it was the April, just the start of April. It was breaking on 15. Basically, Ethereum Classic for me, I've actually I hated Ethereum Classic for basically all this time. It was so
amen, bud.
But this little one of these spikes up. I think it was probably this one or maybe this one. I managed to free roll the coin. Free rolling is another strategy that we're taught, which is basically taking out your seed investment and the rest of it is free money. Well, since free rolling it, I could hold this up and down and up and down, and it didn't really bother me. And then it was just like a really nice gift at the end to have this run.
Guys, look at that.
That's a really good strategy.
And I want you new boomers, you guys, I want you to look at that chart. This is what you have your hands on. This is it right here. Right here. Look at that chart and recognize what you have your hands on. My gosh, talk about parabolic. And we're waiting on several other coins, many other coins, to do the same thing with some tentative targets in place. And I'm sure Jay will update them as we go. And we update them too, certainly. But it's just a great exercise in what you can look forward to in this space, and what can happen over a period of 1 month. 1 month. Yeah. $15 to $150 in 1 month.
And Paul, I want to throw one thing in because Ethereum Classic taught me a lot because I have held it for years. I originally bought Ethereum Classic because I heard from a YouTuber that Ethereum Classic, because their inside secret source, said that Ethereum Classic was going to go to $412. years ago. And I believed them because I wasn't as confident, I wasn't as knowledgeable, I wasn't as trained, I wasn't as educated as I am now. I don't even listen to those people because when they say, oh, I have a secret source, you know, I don't care about that anymore because those secret sources never seem to pan out.
No.
The charts pan out, the what the company is doing, what the chart looks like. That's what pans out for me. And everybody wants to not have to do their homework and do the work. They want someone else to tell them, oh, I have a secret inside source. How many of those secret inside sources for you guys has that ever worked out for?
Golly, it's been terrible, man. Listen, we are technical traders. I mean, we've talked about this before. Fundamentals will move a market short term in most cases, but technical will give you a picture, not a crystal ball, but a picture of where a market's going. Wouldn't you guys agree with that?
Yes, yeah, and in fact, you want to, the secret source. I mean, here on the chart is the secret source, which
Mhm.
is look at this accumulation and wealth coming into the coin, and then the patience that that's taken. None of that money seemed to come out. It was just waiting, knowing that this was going to happen. So
But look at that
that
perfect
I think
Wall
is
Street
smart money.
cycle. Look at that perfect cycle back there, right there where you are. I mean, what a perfect freaking cycle. And if people don't realize what that is, just look up Wall Street cycle and it'll come up on Google or whatever. If you don't know what the difference between fundamentals and technical is, fundamentals is basically a market moves on news or rumors, and technical is looking at a chart and determining based on volume, MACD, Fibonacci, wave, Elliott wave, things like that on where a market may be going. So those are the differences in a very simple explanation. I know there's probably some people out there going, what's the difference between fundamental and technical? And that is, in a nutshell, that is the difference. So we do technical analysis. Jay does keep up on the news. We all do. But for the most part, his calls and his targets are certainly based on technical analysis. And I think that's why he's 95% accurate, throughout his career here. And I don't think he's ever given a target that has not, I don't think he's ever given a trade that has not made money. Am I right there? Am I overstating that?
Yeah, I was going to say, Paul, if you don't get the training, you are going to be the sort of person, whatever age you are, it doesn't matter. You're possibly going to be the sort of person that sells here. You see here where it was November time, and you've been in this for the best part of 2 years, 2.5 years, and it's gone up and gone down, and it's just dragged you through the ringer. It's been a horrible hold, and then suddenly you think, right, I'm out. I've captured a little bit of profit, whatever it is, and then you have to look at this, and I bet you whoever was selling here was probably like looking at this and then now trying to get back in up here. So you need training. This is a
Well, if you were selling there, you were
crazy market.
selling to the guy that was going to buy an R8 with $10,000.
Yep.
So how's that feel? It sucks. I mean, it absolutely sucks. Pull up, if you don't mind, Bud, pull up a PPT chart and let's chat about that just for a minute, because that's kind of an ETC style to me. It's one that I've had for a long time and I'm just freaking exhausted waiting on it. You can go back and look at how long we went just sideways, and now we've got some movement and we've got some really exciting targets on this one. Big targets on this one. I think what is it, pushing 15 to 20x?
We don't want to say, do we?
Yeah, I'm not
That's
gonna
not to say, but
yeah, I'm not slipping this time.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna, yeah, sorry.
But it is up there, and what a great
Well,
project to be into. You guys both hold PPT, don't you?
Yeah, one
Oh,
of the things I was going to
absolutely.
say, Paul, can you hear me okay?
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, this PPT, I've just looked at that. Doesn't that look like it's forming a cup and handle? Is that
Mhm.
It sure does.
possibly?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just noticed that. Yeah, there's the first stop there, which would be around about right. I seem to remember $13-ish was a price that there was a lot of activity.
Yeah, that's great. And the all-time high for PPT was up there. I don't remember what it was off the top of my head, but it was pretty substantial from where we're at now. So one of the things, as we kind of start wrapping this up, one of the things that we were talking about before we started the show is there's a lot of new people in this space. And George is the absolute guru on security and basically securing your digital life. If you don't have his teachings, go to the link down below of this video and click on it, join up, and get in on George's security classes, because they could save you. I mean, who knows how much money, but
Well, yeah, and I was going to say, Paul, I tallied it up in my mind the other night because I was emailing with someone and they were making just dumb, stupid mistakes, and I had to say to this person, I'm like, look, I know of $1 million that have been lost, and that was, in 3 month ago dollars in the crypto space, and so it's well above $1 million, and don't lose it because you lack the knowledge that is a worthwhile investment in yourself, because there's no way, once you lose your crypto, you're not getting it back. It's not like you can go to Lost and Found, because it's never found. It's gone and it's converted into something else, and you'll never see it again. And it's hard to see people lose things.
For sure. And the other part of that is you're responsible for it, guys. You are becoming your own manager, money manager, wealth manager. That's what I call it. You are a wealth manager. Whether you've got 5,000 in the market or 50 million in the market, you are your own wealth manager, because you don't rely on a bank. You don't rely on a broker. The only thing you rely on a broker for is, I need you to make this trade. I don't need your recommendation on a trade. I already have learned from the best, and that's Jay. And here's the trade I want you to place. And you have the confidence, once you have learned from Jay, to tell the broker, I don't need your recommendation. It doesn't matter to me. I thought it was hilarious because my broker thought I was nuts, saying, let's put a limit order in for $150, and I may update that for Ethereum Classic. So anyway, back to the newbies that have just gotten in this space over the past 2-3 months, and continuing on this vein of, it's your responsibility. There is no customer support number to call if you screw up. Okay, there's no customer support number if you happen to use your phone to send 100 Litecoin to somebody, or to your broker to sell, and you accidentally put the wrong address in because you couldn't see it on your phone well enough. There's no customer support staff that is going to be available when you screw up on your phone and don't use a hardware wallet and somebody grabs a hold of your stuff. There's nobody to call. You're it. Okay, you're your own wealth manager. So to that, George was talking about, and maybe you can talk just a little bit about it, but somebody called and contacted you and said, they got distracted and messed up. And luckily it was for a fairly low amount of money. But why don't you just share that real quick and what you told them, George?
Yeah, fortunately it was just their email address, but they said, well, I was distracted, and crypto, is a serious business, and if you're just going to take it as a hobby, don't get into this hobby. That they were distracted and like, oh, I'm sorry, and I'm like, don't be sorry to me. I'm not going to be losing things, and there's time and time again where I've worked with people and they've said, oh, I don't know what the 24th word was because when I was setting up my hardware wallet and writing down these 24 words, I got distracted, or the kids came in the room, or the doorbell rang. And crypto is not a place to be distracted. Watch TV and be distracted from that. Don't be distracted from crypto, because there's no going back. There's no oops, sorry, I'm bad, or my bad, and let's redo it. It's really something that you have to stay focused on, and that I've seen too many people lose money. But I do have a good story, and I'm going to share it on the live stream tomorrow. I had been working with someone and they didn't know where their original 24 words were. And it's been months. And he called me the other day and said, George, I found them. And we're talking mid six figures that he had, and I felt really bad. There was nothing that I did because it had been, years for him, but that I know what that can feel like, weighing on someone like, oh my gosh, I lost, $500,000, and it's all my fault because I don't have anybody else to blame because I didn't know where I put my 24 words. Well, this was a happy outcome, but for the last 6 months, it wasn't. And it's really rare that it's going to turn out that way. So make sure you just stay focused on what you're doing, and really be careful, because this isn't a game. It's crypto, and it will eat you alive if you're not careful.
Hey,
Absolutely.
Paul, do you mind if I share an important message?
Oh, please.
I've got something on my mind which I've just been thinking about as I'm listening to you both. And like, if we think about boomers, the baby boomer generation, they've spent their entire lives living in a financial world as we understand it, and now we have this parallel world running alongside that can be alien almost to this generation. So that's one thing to get used to, is the fact that there is this wealth transfer, there is this new financial system to learn, and it's very different. Rather than calling up your broker or getting in touch with your bank and saying you've got this problem, it's, as you say, it's something we have to take responsibility for. We are our own bank, so we have that, and then also on my mind is that it's very, very important that we've lived our lives through accumulating wealth in our own name. We're used to that, and I think it's becoming very, very important to actually think about living life through entities, like through an entity, whether that's a company or a trust or some sort of a legal entity. And that's going to be new for a lot of crypto boomers as well, that concept of not putting things and wealth in your own name, but putting it through various entities. And I just wanted to mention that because that's new, and this is a whole confusing world for these people.
Well, and it's that's a great point, Bud, because it's not just about creating wealth, but once you create that wealth, you have to protect that wealth. And there's many different strategies that you can use to protect wealth. And as a matter of fact, I won't say who is going to be on here in the next few weeks, but we are going to have someone on that is going to share a strategy that you guys will love on protecting some of the wealth that you're going to be creating. And there's other things, but this is one of them that I think is very, very important. It's a proven strategy that's been around for over 100 years. Been through all of the the Great Depression and all the different great stock market crashes and all this stuff, and it's still proven to make money every year. So that's one thing that we're going to try to bring you in the next few weeks, so that you'll have a strategy on how to and where to put some of your wealth that you're creating so that you can protect it. So Any final words from either one of you guys? George, I'll let you go first. What's on your mind? Anything final?
Besides letting everybody know that we are migrating away from the older Patreon platform. If you went to patreon.com/CryptoJ, that's where Jay used to post everything all the time. And we are moving away from that because the platform is not to our liking. We don't want to be censored. We want to have some more flexibility on adding things to the platform, easier searching, that type of thing. So we're moving to thebitcoinacademy.io. And that is a platform that we're going to be springboarding from Patreon onto, and it's live this month, and it will be available from now on. So, the Patreon is going away, and so we're just having everybody convert over and come and join us, because there are really a lot of excited people in the space, and it's really fun to see, especially now that we're not in the doldrums of this bear market, and this is exciting. And as I know, Paul, you said, everything's happening all at once, or that's what it feels like, and it can be a lot of work, but it can also be a lot of fun.
Lot of fun, but like we said, you have to focus. You cannot be distracted. If you're distracted, it's not a good recipe. So the link for the new website is going to be down below, right, George?
Yeah, we'll make sure that it's there.
Yep. So we'll make sure that link is there, and you guys will be able to just click on that link. And if you're not already signed up, get signed up, and spend some money, invest some money in yourself, because like we said, yeah, you're going to go over there, you're going to learn how to create wealth, but you're also going to go over there and you're going to learn how to protect the wealth that you create. And that's just as important, So, Bud, how about you? You got anything, final words for all the boomers out there?
Yeah, the world is changing, and just to embrace the change. Change is good, and change is sometimes necessary, and so we are going through massive changes globally, and certainly get the training you need from the people that you can trust. And thanks for listening.
Absolutely. Guys, it's been great. Just so enjoy our chats, and we will talk to everybody next week. And with that, don't forget, it's not about investing, it's about creating wealth. And now, after today's show, it's about protecting that wealth you create. Until next time, have a great one, boomers. See ya.